are with the Omega level nerds. D Square. I don't know if he ever tells you to get in the chopper. Get in it now. Come kill me. I'm here. J100.
Her.
Yeah,
she
I
was.
can holler at her. I gotta fight Cyclops and Wolverine to get that Jean Grey nut. Man, forget all that. I'm gonna hit up.
Right, exactly.
Jelly Rose.
But I'm very, very looking forward to a Doctor Doom that does not suck. I'm actually looking forward to more figures since I do collect them.
And Volsker. Naked.
You know what's funny is I was about to say, could it be that Marvel Girl looks like she's trying to get Twitch viewers?
Yeah, exactly. Are gonna get real nerdy for you real nerds. That's right. I hope it was worth the wait. Because come one, come all. It's the geekiest, nerdiest stream of them all. I am D Square. We have the rest of the Omega level nerds, J100 and Volsker, here with us tonight to talk about a very popular subject that your friendly neighborhood D Square actually doesn't really know a lot about. And that's Invincible, of course. The show, the superhero, gory show that is sweeping the nation, basically making a huge name for itself in the streaming world. It is, of course, based off an actual comic book series, one that obviously follows, but the main character is a person named Omni-Man. Of course, I know his son, too, is also a big part of the show. But Omni-Man, well, you see, Omni-Man, he's an alien, and he wants to conquer Earth, and he lives a very long time. And we got 3 words into his origin before we get to the Superman analogy. But, of course, he is an alien. Boom, there it goes. But he's like the other side of the Superman coin, where Superman pulls his punches. This dude, from what I've seen, because again, it's not something that I've watched, but from what I've seen, this dude hits you and your fucking face explodes. And other than that, I understand he's, again, an alien that is coming to conquer Earth. I guess he was a superhero, though, at some point, for some reason. Got a wife and son, but is now like, yeah, I'm back to, okay, we're gonna take over the Earth. So I'm not really into the ultra-violent, especially when it comes to superhero stuff. So it really, the superhero deconstruction, the Superman analogy, the what if Superman was a murderous killer, I'm just not into that sort of thing. But the rest of the worlds is, as well as J100 and Volsker. So J100, I know you're very into the show, so I'm going to hand it off to you first. Tell us about it. Fill me in on what I don't know about the show, because I don't know a whole lot. But I don't know. I mean, season 1's out. What are your thoughts?
Well, your synopsis was basically, the gist of the plot. Him becoming a superhero seemingly was a conscious decision to kind of get the feel for what Earth was like and what they had to offer, whether it was worth conquering or not. If there were humans that were strong enough to either one be a part of the Viltrumites, as the name of their people,
Mm-hmm.
or if they're strong enough to fight against the Viltrumites. And so, the gore and all that kind of stuff like that, I think isn't to just be gory. I mean, maybe so, but I don't think it's just to be gory. I think it's because I don't know the comic. So, I mean, I guess I need to get into that, but
very, very dark.
Based off of what I'm seeing from the show, Earth doesn't matter. Humans don't matter. And overall, and that's something that's hard to, I guess, conceptualize as
Right.
humans. You know what I mean? But you got to think about it like this. And this is what I was telling my girlfriend as we were watching this. Imagine what we do in to chickens and cows and ants and flies, right? That's a great one. Flies is a great example of it because like flies live for what? 3 days tops,
Right.
a day, 24 hours, 72, something like that. They don't live very long. And they get on our fucking nerves. So what do? We put fly traps around. For me in my room, I had the little sticky little things that I had in my room, and I had about like 30, 40 of them flies. We're ruining I wouldn't say sentient. I mean, I guess sentient, right? They know what's going on for the most part, but like for their existence, like they live for 3 days. So imagine Omni-Man watching these insects trying to like fight, right? And that's what's really important about that first scene is because you got an immortal superhero, right? That's probably the only one that can go toe to toe, only one that did kind of for real go toe to toe for the last part. And the champions of Earth didn't even last 10 minutes against one Viltrumite. Just one. Now keep in mind they have an empire, these motherfuckers.
Right.
So overall, at the end of the day, when you stop, with the humans, like for 3 seconds, these Viltrumites live for tens of thousands of years. They fly anywhere they're at. They don't need no sun shit or the yellow sun was gonna give them fire. No, these motherfuckers wake up beating your ass if they could. You know what I'm saying? Like, or born beating your ass.
I just hold their breath in space.
I take that back. They have to grow into their powers. My bad. They have to grow into their powers. So they don't come out the womb whooping your ass. They grow into it. It eventually comes to that. And I mean, I guess the empire part is like whatever, but and the idea of having a Hunger Games to weed out the weak in order to maintain a civilization of the strong is a little, inhuman. But these ain't humans. These is Viltrumites. So they gonna do the shit that they do what they do where they at, right?
Right.
Overall at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that are like, but Thanos was right. And like he wasn't, but in a way he kind of was. But who was gonna stop him? It took, champions of the galaxy to take down Thanos. And so when it comes to Invincible and this thing about humanity, the meme, the think, Mark is gonna outlive everyone that he ever known. What are you holding on to? That's the part that I was kind of when I finally figured out, because I thought that Omni-Man kind of got into the murking of the champions for like some like nefarious reason, like he's really good but like super strong or whatever. And then when I kind of figured out what it was, I was like, well, that kind of makes sense too. And Mark is gonna is first off can't even handle his dad, so you think you're gonna handle the whole fucking empire, my nigga? Like, no.
Mark is his son.
That's who is Invincible. He's the actual main guy.
And his powers are a replication, so all the Viltrumites, they have all they're just the powers are the same.
Right. So there was this one part where the the Shield agency, if you will, I forgot what they were called. They were trying to study the blood of the Viltrumites, and Omni-Man even made mention of it that the Viltrumite cells like burnt out whatever fucking human shit he had, and he's a Viltrumite now. He's like almost a pure Viltrumite.
Oh wow!
That's
okay.
What the cells do, even though he's half technically. So like, you're gonna live for tens of thousands of years, fam. And like, your mama ain't, and your girl ain't, and so I'm not saying you gotta like murder everybody, but in some way, shape, or form, I think that there may be, I don't know, some weird like uh partnership with the Viltrumites or something like that. That's why Omni-Man left, because he has a little bit of humanity in him because he was with them for so long. But that's what we're gonna see in season 2. So for me, I think it was really good because it kind of bent some concepts of what superheroes are and why, and overall at the end of the day, like it's basically like what would have happened if Goku didn't bump his head.
Right.
And like overall at the end of the day, like the Saiyans, aren't overall the perfect, but what was Piccolo gonna do? Barely beat Raditz, like barely beat Vegeta. So I mean, at the end of the day, if 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 the humans get beat by a bigger species, I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying that like it's inevitable. So they should have probably named the show Inevitable, because like unless
Yeah.
they figure out a way to destroy Viltrumite cells, it's inevitable. But I mean, I guess that's where the comic is.
You'll have Thanos memes though at that point, Okay, interesting. Volsker, what's your take on the Invincible season 1?
No, I really liked it a lot. To Jay's point, it is bloody, but I don't think it's just bloody to be bloody. Like, it has a meaning. Like, when you see Omni-Man crush a head, it's to basically put that All Might, like, he is the strongest, nobody can fuck with him kind of thing. And when you think of who is behind the show and who wrote the comic, Kirkman, Marvel Zombies, Walking Dead, like, of course it's going to be bloody. Like, the dude's just blood's in his shit. Like,
Yeah.
To Jay's point, the big thing here is a couple things. Omni-Man, I agree. He's basically was scouting. Like, he was living, getting them some at night, had a wife, had a kid.
What makes him want the mustache? I call him, Mustache Man. That's what he... What? Is that an alien trait? Do they all have the...
His mustache actually changes because he goes into a world that speeds up time. Like, they live in and it gets grayer. So it actually, they just don't even reference it. He just comes back, sits down, and has dinner. Like,
yeah, okay. That just popped in my head. Sorry.
So my thing here with Mark is a big thing that kind of, to Jay's point, he can't handle his dad. He sucks at fighting. But the big thing is he didn't get his powers until late after puberty, which is unnatural for their species.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad was not happy when he did get his powers. And I think it's because he knew that his son wouldn't believe what he believes and would stand up against him. And ultimately, when it comes down to the fight at the end, which is them two, which is where that meme comes from, the Think, which
yeah,
he basically, like, as he's about to kill his son, that's when he stops. Like, he has flashbacks of them growing up, and that's where a little bit of that humanity that he did grasp onto kind of stopped him, and he fled. Which, I have a couple theories. I haven't read the comic either. Either he's going back to report it and there's going to be an invasion, or I wonder if he's going to be outcasted because he did not go through with his mission after being on Earth so long. But yeah, it's really interesting. Some of the take, like superheroes being like using gadgets and stuff. Like, you can definitely pick out like Flash, Wonder Woman, sure. Batman. Then there's some even with like curses, like this little 24-year-old, every time she turns into her beast, like Beast Boy, she actually de-ages every time she uses it. So she's in the body of a 12-year-old, but she's actually 24 years. So eventually she's just going to end up like wiping herself to non-existent if she uses her powers too much. It's really interesting. It makes me want to read the comics, and I know the comics were really that was one of Image's big successes back in when they first started, wasn't it?
I really don't remember back when they first started. I mean, when
'Cause
they
that was
first started, it
Kirkman's
was
first comic, I believe.
Spawn, Young Bloods, Nighthawk, Pit, Max. That was an old MTV Liquid Television show.
Fair point.
Okay.
When was that comic? Oh, and the big thing too is Omni-Man is voiced by J.K. Simmons, which just makes it so much fucking better. And for those that are Walking Dead fans, freaking shit, what's his name? Glenn is actually the voice of Mark, the Asian character.
Yeah, the guy that got his head bashed
Stephen
in by
Yeun.
Negan.
Yeah.
O's in it. Martiala Ali's in it. They got
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill's in there too. Yep.
Yeah, he's the designer for all the costumes.
Who else is in there? Oh, the funny dude that's in all the over the top dude that's in all like the cult comedy shows like The League and what's his name? I can't remember his name. Some Greek name. He's fucking hilarious. He's the Derek in Big Mouth, and he's if you've ever seen The League, he's Nick Kroll's brother-in-law. He's just always a ridiculous character. He was Ray.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of.
I think of his name.
They even had the voice of Rick do a cameo for the college student that got turned into a cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that voice. I was like, that fucking sounds like Rick from Rick and Morty.
That's cool.
They got Zachary Quinto or whatever from Star Trek and shit to be the robot guy, which is perfect. His voice is.
I don't care what anybody says. His number one best fucking roles is still from Heroes.
Yeah, I agree. Hero, I would say Heroes, then Star Trek.
Yes. I want to see that. He's also plays Nosferatu too.
And then I never really even got to. I mean, I didn't talk about like the other characters in my breakdown. One, because I don't really care about them. But they have their different teams. You know what I mean? And so there's like different hero factions. So the question that I have for the show is, where did these humans get powers from? And did the humans getting powers be the thing that caught the Viltrumites' radar 20 years ago? Because these are kids. They're all kind of like, well, not all of them are kids, but like the team. They're all around the same age. Then you have the Guardians. They were a lot older and been doing things for a little while. Like, where did they get these powers from? That's a question that I had while watching the show. I thought maybe they would get into that a little bit more. I guess that's maybe what season 2 is going to be about. But overall, I keep hearing these like Homelander comparisons, and there's no comparison. Homelander is a human boy who was turned into what he was turned into because he was separated from society, this, that, and the third. So I mean, there's no comparison to that.
Right.
Comparison. Homelander should know better, especially considering he knows what he is. He should know better because he's a human, but he's got these powers and he wields them the way that he does because he's a dick. Omni-Man is a completely different species. So him even adopting human ways was merciful on them for the most part. And then at the end of the day, like humanity, the way humanity's the good parts of humanity structures society is, I mean, I guess humane, right? That's why we call it, humanity or calling things humane because it's human, things that you're supposed to be. So when you have all these other characters that are doing the things that they're supposed to do, people dying, people judging, the strength and and the abilities of their powers, and this, that, and third. It's very human. And for me, to me, like, again, going back to like the insect part, the time that he's been the good point. Here's a great point. When Omni-Man called his wife sort of like a pet.
Yes.
And she was like hurt by that. Well, kind of. I don't think she's as hurt as she. Because she had to have known like a good portion of it. She knows that he's not human. She knows obviously he flies around, does shit, going to Greece to get dinner and shit, Rome to get ingredients or whatever, spices and shit. So she knows there's a difference, but obviously he hasn't aged a day because they don't age the same. He's been around for thousands of years, seen a lot of things. And the time that he's had, the time that the time that he's had on Earth, and the time that it took for his son to get his powers and whatnot, was just a blink in time for him. And I personally, especially for how fucked up humanity actually really is, and that's the biggest part of it that kind of makes me mad. And again, maybe it's just because like I view the world a lot differently than other people, because I'm looking at it like, we're supposed to be humane, but then we got this country blowing up the people that live in it, and we're like, oh, I don't know what to do about that. But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't really give a fuck about humanity, because humanity don't give a fuck about each other. So the Viltrumites are gonna come over here. Let me tell you, if Omni-Man come over here for real, and I was just like, oh, that's what they on? I'm gonna try to be a Viltrumite fan. What I gotta do? Because these motherfuckers over here, like, I've been trying to tell these motherfuckers for 35 years that they ain't shit, and you over here flying around and shit, you could live for 10,000 years, and okay, let me be with you. I'm joining your side. And you can call me whatever you want, but what humanity giving me besides racism and hatred and war and poverty and greed and the 7 deadly sins and
we may die anyway because of global warming. Like,
right. Gonna kill yourself and your planet anyway. Why not let those who deserve to be a part of something bigger be a part of something bigger? And the only reason why we're looking at it as like this big scary thing is because we are the Omni-Man of our surroundings, and now we figure out that we're literally just flies.
Yeah, that's why the government hides UFOs from us, because they know we'll lose our shit if we find out. They're like, what? Just a pushing of a button and we get Death Starred? Like, yeah. The only reason we exist.
Cleveland quarterback that tells us about UFOs. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, it's like that Rick and Morty it could be like that Rick and Morty episode where like, we have to make the gods like laugh or enjoy our music, or else they'll be like rejected, and boom. So yeah, that's interesting. It does sound interesting. I know I'm not a fan of dark stuff, so obviously looking at it, it's like, oh, that's pretty dark. But I also know J.D. Oliva talked about the comic book series, and it's like, it doesn't get lighter. It keeps getting dark and more fucked up and hopeless. I'm just not in for that sort of ride.
Let's not also forget that like they had an alien invasion 3 times in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And to pitch off of that, it's the same aliens that attacked, ran, learned from it, came back, ran again, and came back with like an ultimate solution.
Wow.
And Omni-Man saved the day, because there's something about Earth that they want or need, and I want to learn more. And maybe overall, the Viltrumites are bad. Maybe Omni-Man's an evil piece of shit. I don't really know yet, but based off of the way humanity is being, the way humanity already is, I mean, and I think that the what's her name?
Justification isn't a stretch for you, basically. It's not a stretch that it's. I'm sorry.
No. I was just saying that like Adam Eve, she didn't want to be a hero anymore because it's just this never ending, negative bullshit. I'm gonna use my powers to do some good, and then like nobody cares.
Nobody
Well,
cares. You
yeah,
get
she wanted to be a
ridiculed. More
hero,
bad
just
shit
not
happens.
fighting. She wanted to go save like world hunger and stuff. She wanted to be an actual, like, true hero, basically.
But nobody cares. Because
Yeah.
overall, at the end of the day, she had to get in the middle of the motherfucking Omni-Man Invincible fight. Oh, almost. Anyway, they kind of took her out of that because they need her.
I mean, she
Need
still
her.
wasn't right in the head after she found the love of her life, having a three-way with a multiplying superhero in the bathroom while she was away.
Oh, it's
She was
that
like,
type of show. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't show it, but like, I wish that would have done.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It comes back
But
like, "Oh, you're cheating on me," and then two of the clones come out. Oh, that's what it was.
Oh
But can you
boy.
blame them though? Can you blame them? And that's why having like you're a superhero with like normal relationship rules that don't even make no sense. You literally got a chick on a team that can multiply herself into any different. Listen, I have to try it once at least.
You have to have a relationship like, rock stars and musicians sometimes have with their wives where they
Something.
can.
I'm gonna need a hall pass or something. This she can
Okay.
multiply.
Well, let's, definitely, again, not something I think I'll really get into, but overall, everybody else is liking it. So, we'll definitely stay tuned. I want to hear you guys' thoughts, when season 2 hits. To me, the blood, the guts, the darkness, Although, with that said, I'm immediately going to look like a hypocrite because Castlevania Season 4 came out, and I watched that over the weekend, and it's dark and blood and guts, so maybe because it's Castlevania, I'm into it. A lot of it's more blood and guts of creatures, but there's a fair amount of human blood and guts in there. I'm not sure. Maybe it's so like video game accurate. Maybe not. Well, it's not super accurate as far as what happens in the video games, but just the way the monsters look and the inside of the castle looks. Oh, I've been in that room before. It's just wonderful. So, Volsker, what's your thoughts on Castlevania Season 4?
I fucking loved it. I want to see what happens with Hector and Isaac next. Like, I want more. Simply put,
Is
if
this
they
not
can
the
make
final season?
this is the final season for this
Okay.
run.
Oh, okay.
Now,
I took it. All right.
Now we know from the history, and correct me if I'm wrong because you're the buff on this. Trevor and they have a kid, don't they? That eventually becomes
I
a
don't
hunter?
know if they've ever done that in the I don't know as far as the video games. I don't that's not really not been a thing. But obviously they're going to go down the Belmont line. They mentioned Leon Belmont. So this could be Simon Belmont or, something. Richter Belmont, which would be really cool because they're Richter, gather your strength. The whole show seems to be around the Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, through Rondo of Blood, maybe leading up to Symphony of the Night. But
They
it's
said
really,
like they could technically go like in the Curse of Darkness right now, like
right.
how
I
they
mean,
go.
it's taken its own direction. I mean, they've certainly added things that are nowhere. All the various vampires that we see and his vampire war room and all that. I mean, they're definitely taking a lot of liberty with the story, but they're doing such a good story with it, and the aesthetics are like so familiar that it's I have to agree, it's awesome, and season 4 didn't disappoint.
All four,
but
like I fucking loved every ounce of this, and I'm not a huge Castlevania buff, and I was just sitting
no,
there because you didn't watch it right away, and I was like, dude, you need to fucking watch this. This is
yeah,
awesome. And I said I couldn't turn season 4 off. I'm like, holy fuck, let's keep going. What the fuck? Like,
yeah. Well, because it's so they got me right away. You're right. I should have watched it because again, it's not following the exact same story in the games. But of course, my favorite Castlevania is Castlevania Symphony of the Night, in which you go through Castlevania as Alucard. It's fucking awesome. It's got RPG elements, blah blah blah. Nonetheless, one of the things that you see in that game is you see that cutscene where Alucard's mother is burned at the stake for being in love with Dracula. And so this series starts with her meeting Dracula. And then, as soon as she convinces him, travel like a man, right? Because he can travel in the castle. He can just do his teleport thing, which burns everyone around him, which is cool. But she convinces him to be like a dude. He does it, and while he's away, the fucking Catholic Church in the series, they're burn witches and all that shit. So they kill Dracula's wife, and yeah. That's why he goes apeshit on humanity, and you're like, yeah, motherfuckers. Right, you're like, yeah, here you go, motherfuckers. Kind of to Jay's point with the whole Invincible stuff, like you really haven't shown us much here.
Yeah, because he was even showed like she was big in science, like they were trying to heal people, like he was actually treating humans like his own, like.
But they were treating those scientific advances as some side of, devil worshiping, basically stomping down any sort of actual progress in the name of religion, which, we don't have that anymore.
Sounds familiar.
Anyway, yeah. Nonetheless, so that intriguing story, along with the fact that they use the monsters from the game, again, you look at inside the Castlevania itself. I will say I really loved Season 1. Season 2 and 3 were interesting, but I was kind of going down for me. But yeah, Season 4, when we're back and centered around the castle, right? Because Alucard has the castle, and he's got this village.
Alucard.
Yeah.
It's like, please drop the...
Yeah. He's got this village that are being attacked by these night monsters, and he helps them. But eventually, basically, by the end of this season, like, yeah, he's gonna have a town around Castlevania, and but I'm okay. Go right ahead, though. I'm sorry, I kind of interrupted you there.
No, you're fine.
So
the thing and you're right. So 1 was awesome. Season 2 was good. Season 3 was more world building, a lot more story, less action. And I think if Season 3 was not as good as it was, Season 4 would not have been what it was. Because if you go back and watch 3 and then watch 4, everything Season 3 set up literally was referenced at some point in 4. Like, they built on it so freaking perfectly. It's insane. And that's what was so great about this show is it's almost like they just told the writers, go make a plan, fucking Scott Snyder it, go do whatever you want, follow your dream, and it just nailed fucking perfectly. And that's why I cannot wait for like Berserker, Keanu Reeves' series that they're doing an anime for. Like, if they can keep doing properties like this, Netflix is going to fucking slaughter other streaming services because this is awesome. And this gives so much liberty to so many other video game properties that we would never thought could potentially come to the screen. Like, it's just, it was fucking perfect. Like, no one ever thought a Castlevania anime would ever been, like, we thought, Dracula movies, we get them all the time. It's a B-rated horror film. Nobody ever thought this would have happened, and nobody thought it would be getting 9s and 10s across the board.
Yeah.
Like, it's so nuts.
Well, I mean, it's crazy because it's Castlevania. It's a good Castlevania series, but it's actually, at its core, a love story.
Mm-hmm.
Because I introduced you to how the series started between Dracula and his wife. So I'll take you through a couple of things that disappointed me, and we'll kind of go through the major points of season 4. So I was really excited that we got introduced to death. It was like episode 1 or
Yes.
2 of this season that they saw the death statue.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh. Because in Castlevania the game, the Grim Reaper, a.k.a. Death, he's always either the boss before Dracula,
Or
or
after.
sometimes he's the end. Yeah, he's the end game boss sometimes, because he's kind of the driving force behind Dracula. So I was really excited when he got introduced early into the season. And basically, he is the one, Death reveals himself. Now, we first see Death as this English vampire, right? Oh, I got my English vampire. You should know me. We're gonna revive Dracula. Well, that turns out to be Death. He reveals himself to, what's that magician name? Cervantes or whatever. He's the one.
You're not talking about the magician. You're talking about the researcher.
The researcher, the one that's messing with the Invincible corridor and doing the bidding of Death to revive Dracula.
Oh, I can't think of his name because that actor is like so iconic.
Yeah, it's a whole thing with him, but he's got a whole interesting story, because you think he's dead from season 3, but he returns in season 4, and he's manipulating
Saint Germain.
Saint Germain. He talks like, oh, I'm Saint Germain. Oh, hey. So Death is manipulating him to revive Dracula and his wife, so that they can put his souls, his Dracula's soul or whatever, and his wife, into this body that they've made. They've created this cadaver that's 50% male, 50% female. You even see a titty on one part of it. And Death wants to put Dracula and his wife essence into this thing, because he'll be just apeshit crazy at that point, and we'll do just a bunch of mad, crazy, violent shit and create a bunch of death. So that's the plot, and due to Trevor Belmont, he kind of saves the day once that all goes down. And so you mentioned Isaac, the 2 Forge Masters, because that was pretty much one of my biggest questions, is what happened to them. And I wasn't like completely cool with the fact that Dracula never got revived. Dracula wasn't the end guy, but it did make sense that like Death was the end guy, because that whole scene with Death, that was like right out of a Castlevania game.
And that's why I think they can continue it, because Dracula did get revived.
Right, and that, yes, Dracula and his wife somehow get fully revived, away from everything, and they're just like, oh, we can, look at that, we could be together and alive, and oh, our son's got our castle. Okay, cool. Well, he can have fun.
So I think they can definitely play on that, or this, will just be considered a mini series. But yeah, that was kind of, I was a little salty at first. I was like, fuck, man, I wanted to see a massive Dracula fight again, because that fight between Alucard and him in the season 1 was fucking awesome. And I was just like, but it didn't happen. But I will say, Trevor is fucking, when he gets pissed, that dude lays some shit, man. Like, that fight was awesome.
Yeah.
And when he got the the Indian star, the foreign was it, I can't remember what he called it, but the the cross dagger
it's
star.
It's the cross. It's right. That's an item from the game. It was perfect. Yeah. Like, it was awesome how they incorporated that finally.
Yeah, he's just got him. I was like, oh, he's about to fuck some shit up with that.
Yeah, he's really good with a lot of different type of weapons, which is awesome.
And I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of his thing, right? He was an alcoholic. He was a failed Belmont. He really didn't amount. But then when he actually put his head to the grindstone, like, he actually became one of the best.
Yeah. Yep.
Before I'm assuming, didn't he eventually get killed?
Yeah, they all. Yeah, exactly. All eventually get killed.
But yeah, I thought it was cool. It did suck what happened to whatchamacallit, um what was it? The Irish vampire. Was that Hector's girl? Where she was like, I know you did all this, but
Oh,
peace
yeah, she
out. I was
just went
like,
out and burned away. Yeah, went out into the sunlight. And he didn't
um,
protest that much, though. He really was like, he really accepted it. Like, okay, all right, well, you're just gonna, okay.
I think he was kind of at that point, like, where I was like, can I really stop her? Like, what I've
I
gone through.
suppose. Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, it definitely, I think, can branch off of those two, Hector and Isaac. It can go to different Belmonts. I mean, they kind of gave the notion that they're building the Belmont Village around Castlevania. Because didn't when they moved the castle there in season 1, wasn't it season 2?
When they
Might have been season
first,
2. Because didn't they separate at season 2, and that's what season 3 Alucard got fucked up by those two twins.
yeah, that
Yeah, so
was
season 2 they moved the castle by the Belmont Museum. So
right.
the museum's still across with all the learnings because they even showed the people going through the books and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm really curious if they plan on doing anything, but they leave it at this. I think it was an awesome, damn well near perfect mini series, and I don't think live action any other kind of would have done it justice as this. Like, it is damn perfect.
Yeah, I definitely think the anime format was the perfect format for Castlevania. I'd like to see him continue or at least go off into other series. This definitely led into that. Um, one of the complaints I did have, though, is this is obviously beautifully animated, looks awesome. During the fights, though, when they're like really speeding up the action, though, I do notice like the hair, like that one scene where the big vampire lady got into the suit of armor that so she could fight in the daytime, and she's like slicing through all those farmers. Like her hair was like just one piece, and it wasn't that detailed during that scene. So I noticed
Yeah,
that a little bit more in season 4, that when they were doing a lot of speed action, the images themselves got a little less detailed. Wasn't huge, still looked
very
good.
common nowadays. My Hero
Yeah,
Academia, Seven Deadly Sins, a lot of that. Like, even some of the opening scenes where you don't need, like, oh, people are going to be watching people's heads fly off. Like, let's just slop a brown color instead of. It's
yeah,
very common, and it comes to a lot of the computer animation that they do now, because you don't recognize that shit when people hand drew. Like, back in Dragon Ball days, you didn't see that. Like, they detailed everything, and that is a big issue between hand drawing anime versus the computer anime.
mm. Um, and then so I mentioned that big vampire lady, her and her wife or whatever, her lesbian vampire lover. What's going to happen to them now? Because Camilla's dead, and so that whole structure that they were working under isn't there anymore. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of different types of branches that are still kind of there if they do decide to have series that are offshoots from this one.
I mean, easy. Some Dracula follower can come and kill his wife again and make him think it was humans again. Like, what's the whole purpose of all the games? People keep resurrecting him to go after the humans. Like, they could
Yeah.
definitely do something if they wanted. Or she dies of old age. She is human. And
Yes.
he
Yep.
loses his shit. Like, because most of the stories take place, what, 50, 100, like, couple hundred years later? Like,
Well, in the games,
or, yeah.
Castlevania basically reappears every 100 years.
Yeah, so.
So, yeah. All right. Well, so let's go ahead. We're going to take a short 30-second break. We'll get into some Mega Level Nerd news, and then we'll head on out here. Looks like we lost Jay. He was having some technical difficulties, so maybe he'll return. But we'll move along. So, be right back.
Do the
夢じゃない ファイナルファンタジー6 4月2日スーパーファミコンで発売。スクエア。夢じゃないスーパーファミコンソフトファイナルファンタジー6スクエ
あ、ロックやっと会えた。ファイナルファンタジー携帯機完全移植計画、いよいよクライマックスへ。ファイナルファンタジー6アドバンスファイネストボックス当たる。
But you're not sure how that's going to go after the previous G.I. Joe movies, but
Yeah, so during the break there, Volsker mentioning they just released a trailer for Snake Eyes. So, breaking news there. Don't go check it out right now. Wait till after the show.
what could go wrong? It's a bunch of fucking ninjas. Like,
Right, exactly. Yep, that's successful formula. All right, well, so what do we got in the Mega Level Nerd news? Well, I am looking at the StanfordArtsReview.com that suggests that Brie Larson may be getting replaced in Captain Marvel 2.
oh, look who's back. Play it.
Oh,
Hi, guys.
Let's, all right, great. Well, I'll tell you what then, since we got you, let me get rid of that. So we're back. All right. Well, okay. We'll hold off on the Omega Level Nerd news then, real quick then, and we'll talk about the Bad Batch. Episode 3 came out, and so Jay, what did you think?
This was one of those like filler side episodes that is in every Star Wars that I actually can't stand. So I was a little annoyed with this episode, but it doesn't matter because it kind of built up Omega a little bit. It kind of showed the camaraderie between um, um, the Bad Batch themselves, and how overall at the end of the day, maybe the chip in Sniper Face's head, what I forgot his name, isn't as
Crosshair.
effective as they said it was or think it is. So that's really about it. That's all I can really say. The whole my ship crashed and I'm on some moon and there's some fucking alien over here fucking my shit up.
Yeah, getting the capacitor, yeah.
Yeah, that's an old ass Star Wars trope that's in every fucking
It is.
movie. Like it's almost in every movie. I'm trying to think. It was in Empire Strikes Back.
Right, got the
Definitely in The
Minox.
Mandalorian. It happened like every other week on Clone Wars.
Pretty sure it happened a couple times in Mandalorian.
Yeah, it definitely happened in Mandalorian.
It's like every fucking episode.
Right.
Oh, my ship needs fixed.
Ship needs fixed, and some Jawa stole all my shit. So I guess I'm gonna come over here and build camaraderie with my traveling buddy.
I have spoken.
Yeah, right. Or the ship, like, oh, Leia.
Yeah.
Titty balls.
Right. Yeah, this week's so the episodes are down to a half hour now. So episode the first one was an hour, episode 2 was a half hour, and episode 3 likewise was only a half hour. Yeah, you definitely get the build of camaraderie between Wrecker, Hunter, and Omega. We find out Omega. She's like sleeping in the cargo bay, but now they made her own room. It's a definitely interesting dynamic. But you're right. The whole like, oh, we're gonna crash, and the alien took our capacitor because it feeds off electricity. Like, yeah, it's a common Star Wars trope there, but it did its job, and they are continuing to show us like Omega's just prowess. He's very capable in a multitude of ways. So very interesting. Kind of adds to the mystery of exactly what kind of clone is Omega. Outside of that, we see more of Crosshairs. He's now like the leader of the new squad that's hunting for what's the guy's name played by Forrest Whitaker? Saul Guerrero. Yeah, so Tarkin is at Camino and basically still just doing stuff to try and decide, are they going to continue with the expensive clones, or are they going to go with this other dude's idea where he's like, no, if we go to actual volunteers, we'll be this great soldier group, which is funny because what are stormtroopers post-clones known for, which is not hitting shit. And so obviously we know what that guy's selling.
Wonder why, because they didn't have a sharpshooter training them anymore.
Right. So yeah, nothing remarkable, just more world building and story building around this group. And we definitely see there's going to be a coming conflict between the Bad Batch and their former member, that followed his, or tried to follow his Order 66 command, where the rest of the Bad Batch didn't. And I think overall this show is going to show us, answer that big question that us Star Wars fans always had, which was, well, if they were clones, how did we go from clones to stormtroopers? And I think that's the larger narrative in this show is
if you're a big lore nerd like I am, we already know, but it's interesting to see it happen.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, they even kind of mentioned it in dialogue in some of the sequel trilogy.
That's that too.
Yep, absolutely.
Pick up on the cues.
People don't listen.
All right, so yeah, overall, good show.
Think more. Think.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a famous meme now. There's going to be millions of applications,
And we got to do one for Omega level nerds. You want nerd news? Think, and just have like our logo. Look.
Think. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Or perfect one, Jay. You doing that to the Twitch logo?
Right.
Yes. Oh, I'm about to fucking do it. Dude, where's my phone?
Right.
Where's my artist at? Pasta Bob, where you at, girl?
You have hot tub streaming rampant and you're losing advertisers. And I was just trying to tell people the truth. Think. Think.
I like that one.
All right. So now let's go ahead and go into the Omega level nerd news. Glad that Jay was able to pop back on so we could talk about that Bad Batch a little bit. All right, but here's something else, and I know, Jay, you kind of expressed your interest in this. We were just saying here. So looking at the StanfordArchReview.com, saying that Brie Larson, getting replaced in Captain Marvel 2. It's a rumor, obviously it's a rumor there. But what is your take on that? I mean, I've heard rumors that like the other MCU actors don't like her, and I know a bunch of people, I don't know, think she's cocky or whatever. I don't have a problem with her. I like the movie. Why are we talking about replacing Brie Larson?
I watched Captain Marvel. What was it, last night? Yeah, we watched it last night. It's the best. It's one of the best ones out of the whole phase 1 through 3. Like it's like top tier Marvel movie, especially for an origin story. But the question. So I think this is what it alludes to. This is what Monica alluded to in WandaVision, where her and Carol have some issues. What's the issue with Carol? What's been the issue with Carol this whole time? Bitch, where you at? Where you at, bitch? What you doing? So, I mean, if Carol's gone, doing what she do, well, then we know two other people who take her mantle, Photon and Miss Marvel. So I don't understand what the issue is. It's not hard to kind of understand what's going to happen, especially when the movies are called The Marvels. Like, it's clickbait.
Mm-hmm.
And it scared me for a second because I was like, oh, damn, the quartering is about to fucking bust a load all over his fucking face. But then I thought for another second, like, they're probably just gonna let her do the galactic shit, because when we get to phase 5, when the shit gets galactic, they're gonna be Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, whooping your ass, because she already been out there doing it. So I mean, and I don't know. That article is the literal reason why I personally don't like to hear news and rumors about production of a movie or whatever that's going to come out 3 years from now. Shut up. I don't care. I just want to see it when it comes out, because whatever y'all are talking about now, whatever even we are talking about now, is probably not even going to happen, because we were doing that shit with WandaVision and we were wrong like every fucking week.
So wrong.
So just stop. I just want to see it.
I have to point out that article too, where it was saying that she was basically bitchy and whiny because she's not getting her own series, and like it pointed out like
that doesn't even match anything from Brie Larson's whole career. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not
outspoken. She would have said it if she felt that. Like,
right. she's very outspoken, but at the same time, she's like humble as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, Brie Larson, especially for those that like, and this is, and me personally, I really don't understand what that sphere of YouTube's issue really is with Brie Larson or a woman with superpowers. I don't know. It's really weird. But like, Brie Larson's like history of movies, like characters that she's played, oh, for the most part, never really had an issue. Never was even a problem. Y'all motherfuckers didn't even know about her until Captain Marvel, for real, unless you know, are a Scott Pilgrim fan like myself.
21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street as well. I mean, there's a lot of things, but my introduction to Brie, for real, I mean, she's been in a lot of stuff beforehand, but my introduction to Brie, for real, was Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Such a good movie.
And I've always considered her a pretty decent actress, and you know, I don't know what the issue is. If there's any fucking actress that deserves I guess vitriol, it'd be Gal fucking racist bitch. But you know, whatever. You know, Wonder Woman, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. She's terrible, and like, she's not that great of an actress. She's gorgeous, but like, and then like, she's, you know, I kind of understand I understand why she probably takes the stances that she takes about like the world right now, especially where she's from. But you sound like a Nazi, so stop. And I say that even though, you know, the history with them is contentious. It's apt. And you know, we're not going to get into that, but I'm just saying that like, that is what I would think, that if Quartering wanted to really make a point, it'd be that. But since he's a Nazi too, I guess, you know, they're two peas in a pod. So it's just really weird how someone like Brie Larson, who is a decent human being, who never really, I don't
She's
understand
nerdy as shit.
Like, yeah, right. And
like
and that part,
video
like,
games, streams, like she had her other cast like playing Fortnite and shit. Like,
right. Like, we got a nerd playing a great character and did a pretty decent job of it, except her running scenes. Oh God, I hate watching actors run. Like, what is wrong with actors? Like, the only actor that is actually really good at running that I've seen, like, for real run, is Tom Cruise. Everybody else has a weird running stance. Like,
even if Tom Cruise be jumping buildings and shit.
Right. If you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Sebastian Stan has the goofiest running stance ever. It's it's just, actors run really weird. Anyway, so Brie runs weird, but outside of that, she's a great actress, great person, decent person from what we know of her or whatever.
People
And
just don't like strong women with opinions. Like that's what,
I, I
because isn't
guess.
she like very strong feminist? Like then the people bitch on her because she has an
I
opinion.
yeah, but like at this point, to me, at this point, if people don't understand that feminism isn't like, you know, female supremacy, it's just saying that like, hi, I exist here too, and I'm not gonna fucking wash her dishes every goddamn day. You know what I mean? Like, if we don't know that, it's just that I'm an equal human being with you. I don't know where people's brains are, but
Oh, there's
but
people that have issues with that, but
I guess so. I mean, you can wash your own goddamn dishes, but whatever. So I don't know.
hey, I mean, it's probably the same people that are jumping on Twitch making hot tub streams, number one, with their lotion on their side, you know?
Right. And if and when we're waiting for Jelly for that, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll hold it because you saying that and me thinking about some things, I think I figured out why shit is
Next week, folks, get ready for a very hot and steamy topic.
Hot tub streaming. Yep.
Listen, the only way personally, and that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Okay.
If y'all motherfuckers don't make a time machine, you are wasting this category. You need to go sit the fuck down somewhere. All right, I'm done.
I love that movie.
So moving on here. So interesting thought here. Piece of knowledge that we learned from the Loki director, and this is from the direct.com. So there's multiple inspirations behind the Loki series. Blade Runner, Mad Men, and Teletubbies. Yeah, that's what the director.
Whatever the fuck he's smoking, I want. Because
director
whatever
Kay
the
Herron.
fuck.
Yeah,
So... La la po. No, what the fuck? We're going Loki.
Loki.
Little crying baby Thor up in the sun.
Right, I was just about to say, what if his brother Thor is the sun? Or say, Yep, it's gonna be a strange series. I think.
God. There's already season 2 planned, so this is one of the first ones that will have multiple seasons.
Yeah. And from that same website here, so Mad Mikkelsen, of course, plays Mordo in the Doctor Strange movie. So is he going to be returning for Multiverse of Madness? I actually also heard that he'd actually like to try his hand at not playing a villain at some point, but yeah. He is set to reprise his role in the Multiverse of Madness, but there are claims that has been a mistake, so it's actually not 100% nailed down whether we're going to see Mads Mikkelsen in the Multiverse of Madness.
And that Johnny Depp money, so he eat it out.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we need to, really. I don't know if I would really care if we don't. I mean, we had him in the first one. And yeah, we're talking about Wanda and all sorts of other craziness in the Multiverse of Madness. So I'm not sure we really need him.
I mean, I don't know. It'd be nice to set up one villain that, doesn't die. It actually comes back and does something other than Thanos, even though now Thanos is dead, technically. It's still rumors he might be back. You never know. Mm-hmm. But because he got locked in an alternate universe with whatever the fuck that being was that wanted basically Wanda and the power that she had. And so a lot of people said the villain from the first one kind of ties into some of the shit that happens in the second one. It would make sense. But
but
I want the other guy.
The other guy?
His partner that turned bad.
Oh, Black dude.
When he was like, "No, you sorcerers are fucking fake," and he started hunting people down at the end of the first
Black
one.
dude, the African dude. What's his name? I can't remember.
Did I mess that up? Is that Mordo? I might have messed the character name up.
Oh yeah, because and Mad
Yeah.
Mickelson, wasn't he?
He
Mamu?
was Matt Mickelson was
he wasn't Dormammu. He was the dude that unlocked him.
Kalius or something like that. Yeah, Mordo is the
Caecilius.
guy. Yeah, Caecilius. I'm sorry. Yeah, Mordo is the guy you're talking about. Which in the
Mordo.
comics,
Yeah.
in the comics, yes, he is a villain of Doctor Strange. So yep, yeah, that character we should see again. But if Mad Mickelson
Because he
character,
can match his strength because he beat him in hand-to-hand combat like throughout the whole fucking movie.
right, yeah, exactly. He is definitely a rival. So yeah, Loki, Doctor Strange, all that Disney goodness, and of course helping the Disney streaming app be very popular. With all the Marvel shows, 2 we've seen thus far. Of course, again Loki coming out in really a short amount of time. So I'd say the Disney Plus streaming service was wildly successful. According to CBR.com here, though, Disney did not hit their second quarter goal. So they had Disney Plus has 103.6 million subscribers. That is 7 million short of their 110 million goal. So I mean, I'd still say that's pretty successful, and I'd say missing a goal by 7 million, if you're in the 3 digits of millions range here, I'd still say you're okay. But yeah, they missed their goal.
I would say that you're okay, but I only could get like 50 people in my streams.
Right? That exactly. If we could all be so lucky, right?
So I know about exponential viewership, huh?
And before we leave Marvel news here, so Dave Bautista thinks that Marvel, and this is MSN.com, Dave Bautista thinks Marvel dropped the ball with Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy movies by making him too funny and ignoring the character's backstory. I don't know if they dropped the ball. I think that they made Drax as relevant as he's ever going to be. But I see the irony there of having Drax the Destroyer, kind of be the goofy character that he is, but it works. But I think Dave Bautista does have a point here. They didn't explore the Destroyer element of the character.
And I think it seems like they made the character fit for Batista too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like I can't picture him doing a very super serious like Drax. Like I just can't picture it.
So I think that they didn't do his backstory, but they gave him the Destroyer moment, and then he got destroyed by Ronin, and then that's all you needed to know. He was a motherfucker in his time, and the whatchamacallem guys, what are they called?
Ravagers?
Not the Inquisitors, but I was watching this shit fucking last night.
The Kree or Nova Corps.
No, not the Nova Corps. Fucking Ronin's people.
Kree.
Ronin's.
Oh, Kree.
No,
yeah,
not
Kree.
the people. Not the people, but his group. His
offshoot, the religious zealots. Yeah, I don't remember their name.
Inquisitors or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Something else in that. But anyway, that force was too powerful because that's the thing. So Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't even about. It's about everybody, but like it's about how there's these galactic empires and shit going on, and like they've been fucking up shit. And Drax's role in the Guardians is to be this comedic relief, because like the whole point of this ragtag group of goofballs who go around and luckily saving shit is the tone at which, you know what I mean, like the MCU version of them kind of I mean the comics kind of too, but like the MCU role that they take. So I get what he means, but I don't necessarily agree with him either. um I think that Marvel did a good job with the Guardians, especially making them marketable.
Mhm.
Some motherfuckers didn't know about them until then.
Yeah, I'll be 100%. I had no fucking clue, and at one point, Guardians was my favorite out of all of them. Like, it stole my like top 3 or 4 MCU films, and we owe that to like maybe if it was a different director and writer, it wouldn't have turned out so well. But let's be honest, James Gunn has a knack for that kind of shit. Like,
Yeah.
he knows how to do team-based movies. Now, this kind of worries me because I don't know if you were going to mention too. There's also rumors that after 3, he's gone.
Yeah, not only that, you're talking about Batista, right? Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see Drax anymore. I mean, and that's okay. I mean, for me, I think his arc is done. Thanos is dead. His family is avenged. And if you're not going to have the original actor, why fight to keep a D-list character around, So, yes. However, speaking of James Gunn, I am disappointed that we did learn through a tweet that he's not going to do, not that he was ever slated, but he basically, got rid of any notion of him directing the Thunderbolts, because, he's already directing the Suicide Squad. That's too bad. I think he could have done a great job with that. But he does a great job with
come with
Guardians of
some
the
money,
Galaxy.
Be
Yeah.
like, hey, we're sorry about what we did about 3. Here's some
Yeah.
extra money. Go do what you want with this.
As a $1 Million Man used to say in a theme song, everyone's got a price.
No, we just need that laugh.
Yeah.
When he bought a title.
Yeah, $1 Million title. I
Oh my
remember
god.
he brought this kid out from the audience. Was like, if you could bounce this basketball like 10 times, I'll give you $100. But he gets like 5, and he'd swat the ball away. Anyway, it's a old wrestling reference. Outside of that, what did you guys think about the Venom 2 trailer? Did you guys catch that?
I'm not interested in it, so I didn't really care, to be honest with you. I mean, and I know that's like disappointing for like the nerd show, but
I can't say it's that disappointing. I have yet to see Venom 1, and I really don't have an
Yeah.
interest in it because Venom separated from Spider-Man to me. I don't know. It bugs me.
I'm intrigued. I didn't like how they were. Okay, so a little backstory. When the first one came out, I was so hyped until I read the review the night before, and I'm not one that goes, "Yo, reviews, reviews." I'm a miss this. I'm a miss, especially with fucking IGN and their fucking 7s that they're just jizzing out over the place anymore. But when I found out that Spider-Man wasn't in it, didn't have the insignia on his chest, Spider-Man doesn't even really exist in this. Like, what the fuck? So I didn't watch the first one, even know how well that shit did. Like, it is one of Sony's most profitable movies ever because they hit like almost $1 billion. Watched it like a year later when it came out on Blu-ray, and I was like, okay, MCU, absolutely fucking not. That's not even anywhere near that quality. 90s Blade movie? Okay. You can take, if you just go into it as the 90s where it's just its own standalone comic film, it's good. And let's face it, Tom Hardy is also fucking badass. And then I was like, okay, wonder what we can do with 2. And then the fact that they're having Harrelson do Cletus, Yeah, no. Unless they make this fucking PG-13, then the movie's gonna be fucking awesome. Because I just want to see him go fucking nuts as Carnage. So I think it's gonna be entertaining. I think it's gonna be 6.5, 7, just like the first one, just to stand alone, do its own thing. But this is also supposed to be part of like Morbius and that kind of side universe that they're building.
Sinister Six.
And they did say while it's not in the MCU, you'll see a lot of Easter eggs and references to characters. It just won't actually officially be a tie-in. Which I'm curious because with the rights from what we know, Sony gets to choose what films are in that universe when they re-upped their contract last year. So I'm wondering whose decision that was.
Don't they also get to choose cameos?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, they could have had Spider-Man in it if they wanted, and it would have officially been an MCU because. So I'm wondering whose decision it was to do that.
To make it separate. I am intrigued by the Woody Harrelson Carnage, though. The Woody Harrelson Cletus Cassidy, rather. I didn't like the look of Carnage. I mean, he's red. I think he should be brighter.
Yeah, he's more bloody, kind of dark, tinged red.
And I think it's, for me, again, I didn't watch the movie, but seeing as how he fought a symbiote that looks pretty similar to him in the first movie. I mean, he's just like a grayer version. I would think they'd want more of a contrast. But nonetheless, that part does. I may watch this and not watch the first one. Don't know if I'm a fan of the comic relief Venom, making the breakfast and here you go. And, I don't know if I'm into that, but okay.
Yeah, it kind of takes some of the essence of like an MCU film with the comical type shit like that, but
yeah,
you do see Venom like bite people's head off and shit, so it does take the darker murder kind of tone, like the what was it, the ultimate Venom that has to feed on people.
Yeah, feed on people, or I think they discover that chocolate is a.
Yeah, I think didn't they do the compromise in the movie? I don't know. I only watched like a quarter of it.
Yeah, at the end, he basically said he can only eat bad people. Like they actually compromised together.
Yeah. There you go. All right, and then we're going to leave you with a little bit of good news here, especially if you're a Witcher fan, like Volsker. So The Witcher Season 2 is now in post-production, and the showrunner is so effing excited, per GameSpot.com.
I fucking love Season 1, so I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm going to need to go back and watch it. Actually, reviewed a Witcher comic today, so you'll see that on superheroespeak.com soon.
I gotta go through those.
Yeah, I gotta send you that file. I keep forgetting to do that.
Nah, you're good. I mean, nothing I send them gets posted anyway, so it's all good.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I sent them probably like 7 or 8 over the last like 4 or 5 months, and nothing ever got posted. So I was like, yeah. So I'm good.
We'll have to look into that. Sure, it's unintentional.
Well, I mean, yeah, because guys are busy, and I know they do their shit, like their video cast, and so totally understandable.
But nonetheless, comic book reviews aside, we are getting ever closer to The Witcher Season 2.
We just get him in the fucking MCU, for God's sakes. Come on, Marvel. Just steal him away from Warner Brothers. Just get him in the MCU.
Who do you want
Henry
to play?
Cavill. See, that's a very good... I don't know. Like,
Nova.
I know he's rumored to potentially be Wolverine.
What about Namor? I could see him as Namor.
Ooh, well,
yeah.
Is that a rumor we're going to next?
I actually could. Yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
Hold
on. Yeah, I've got secret sources, so just hold on. Okay, confirmed. Henry Cavill will be cast as Submariner. Namor. Secret source. Can't give up who.
He will be in Black Panther 2.
There you go.
Yes. Wait,
You
is
heard it
that
here
true though?
first. You heard it here first.
Is that true?
What's that?
Is that true?
Is he going to be in Black Panther 2?
Yeah.
According to my secret sources that I can't give up, verify, or quantify, we're going to get Henry Cavill, Namor, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
No. Listen.
You heard it here first.
I wonder how they would do that, because he is officially the first mutant.
You know what? That's been not really anymore.
Would they actually have him as a mutant though? I mean, that would be a way to introduce the mutants.
They should, because he's actually been in the X-Men team.
But that would be a easy way to, oh look, there's mutants,
right?
And then
we'll have to see what happens in the Eternals, because they could establish something there, and that'll give us a way better idea of what's going on mutants. With that. Right, that they messed around with the human DNA and poof.
Do they play in the comics? Do they actually play into any of that? Because I know that's totally up your territory. Like, do the Eternals have any hands into doing that?
Yeah. Basically, mutants are there because of their tinkering.
Did they actually create Apocalypse?
They created him. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh fuck! I'm saying I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That stuff gets changed. It's a little murky water, to be honest with you. But because
oh, you mean like Magneto having twin children, exactly. Then not having them, then now potentially having them again? Like you just you never know.
Yep, good old muddy comic book waters. All right, well that's going to be the end of the line for our show this week. Again, you can please, join the Omega Level Brigade, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter at OmegaLevelNerds.com. So hopefully you do that. We need some more love, some more followers on Twitter there, where you can, stay in touch with the show. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you down in the comments, rather, not comics. My personal YouTube is on my Twitter profile at dsquare72, so check that out as well. And I do have some new comic book reviews that will be up on superheroespeak.com very soon, so check that out as well. J100, what you got going on?
Nothing at the moment. I think that especially considering some world events that have kind of cemented and solidified that I knew what I was talking about when I got banned from Twitch, and that was an error that people should be aware of. I think that I'm going to start just making some YouTube content, starting with my book club, but doing it a little bit different. So I think I'm going to delete the book club videos that I have and then just have videos of each chapter of the books that I read instead of a stream. Nobody comes to those anyway, so I might as well just make a video and then that make it easier to digest. I might do some just some short video essays or something like that for a little while. And I was also thinking of doing some sports stuff as well. Had an idea for a character that might propel me into that realm anyway. So, but outside of that, just hit me up on Twitter if you're trying to converse. I mean, it seems like my Twitter, I'm on one all the time, but I'm usually not. I'm just going through the feed and reacting to shit I see. And so at J100 for that one, J100 TV for the YouTube, and that's really about it. I hang out with you guys on Sunday, the only place I really want to be at the moment. So I should have some stuff soon. So if you'll hear about it as it comes along.
All right, yeah, do that, man. That sounds interesting. And Volsker, how about you? Where can we find you? What you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, nothing really going on. Just work, kind of personal shit, like trying to work through all that. You still find me over YouTube. Just type in Volsker. Still not fancy enough to have my direct URL. I'm contemplating building or doing a video for this build that I'm doing. I'm doing a birthday build for Haley. So think about doing a video for that, just kind of talking about because the way I have to go about it, doing an APU because GPU motherfuckers and your scalping ass prices. Not paying $400 for $100 GPU. Get the fuck
You know
out of
why
here.
though, right?
Yeah, minor.
Yeah, because you fuckers are just making
Miners
bullshit-ass currency.
plus the silicone issues that they're having.
Yeah, there's a resource
Yeah.
issue there as well. But yep.
Yep.
And the thing about that is like if you know anything about Bitcoin, it's designed to end. So keep mining it, and
Right.
I can't wait for the day when the last Bitcoin gets mined and y'all motherfuckers lose your shit. That's not going to be a good day. It's not going to be a good day. I'm just
No,
letting
there'll
you know
probably
now.
be riots, to be honest. Though people in the
Yeah.
streets, people throwing like their fucking computers outdoors, like
because what's going to happen is like I think what's going to happen, especially when I was reading about what Bitcoin was in the first place. That's why I never really got into it, because I was like, first and foremost, like it's designed to end, and then all it's going to do is turn into regular currency anyway, because the people who have it are going to use it to get regular currency. So what was the fucking point? Okay, so you're doing all this shit to the GPU stuff, and like it's fun, it's cool, and people are making a little bit of dough, and like you're learning about stuff, and you're seeing how fake money actually is, and blah 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 blah. But it's
it's ridiculous.
my man's can't get a GPU because of y'all. So stop it.
Yeah, bastards. Mining.
Right. Outside of that, not too much else. Just trying to, get back in a little bit of gaming. Posted a couple videos playing a really goofy ass stick figure game called One Finger Death Punch, which it's like Guitar Hero. You're a stick figure doing combat and you just hit like square and O at the right time as that they're going across the screen. It's really fucking easy, goofy, dumb, but I literally sat there for like 3 hours one day. Just it's fun.
Yeah, if it's fun, man, fuck it.
And then that's pretty much it. All my other channels or stuff, Twitter, you can check me out at Volsker. Instagram, I am Volsker. Usually sharing and commenting back, just like Jay said.
Cool in the gang. All right, so yeah, again, please visit the fellas here. Visit the Omega Level on Twitter at Omega Level Nerds, and like and subscribe on YouTube. And let us know what you think of today's show, the topics we have discussed. Until next time, though, as always, peace and love, and we will talk to you very soon.